Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2018 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and welcome to any newcomers. As always, thank you for all your likes, shares, subscribes, and for taking the time to send in your support, feedback, and comments. For those of you who do, always welcome and much appreciated. Thank you. And also always a big thank you to all of my clients out there, both my regular clients and my new ones, for keeping me so busy and occupied with personal one-on-one readings. And if any of you out there are interested in a one-on-one personal reading with me and you haven't read with me before, or you've forgotten the information, you can get more information, contact details, by either clicking on the little description bar of all the videos I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the little About button there for more information and details. I do a wide variety of readings in almost all of the main areas of life: love and romance, of course, compatibility charting for couples, relationship reconciliation potentials, career, work, and finance readings, channeled messages from passed on loved ones, and I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, the main areas, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So if you're interested, you'll find my contact details there as well. Feel free to email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time for personal readings is usually pretty fast. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So we can usually schedule you anywhere from a few days upwards of a couple of weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time. We can set up a reading for you live or recorded. So if you're interested, contact me. We'll go from there. And for fast answers to the quick, easy, simple questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That's also with my contact details. So let's move into this. This reading is for the water sign of Cancer, Cancer the Crabs, for May 2018. If you know your rising and your moon sign, watch those videos as well. Sometimes they can be a little more predictive for you and give additional insight and clarification. So Cancerians, our lovely little crabs, let's see what May 2018 has in store for you. Okay, we begin with the Devil, followed by the High Priestess. We have the 8 of Cups in reverse, followed by the 2 of Cups. We have the Sun, followed by the Magician. The 3 of Cups, followed by the 6 of Pentacles. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is Strength. A lot of major arcana cards, and I'm about halfway through the signs for May 2018 Cancer, and almost everybody has a lot of major arcana cards. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 out of 9. So far you have the most. Let me count those again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you have 5. I don't know where I counted 6. So, you know, an abundance of major arcana cards, or the presence of major arcana cards, represent significant life shifts and changes in the spread or in the area of your life it's in, or the opportunity for that. So it looks like, along with a lot of others so far, Cancer, there will be opportunities for some significant life shifts or growth, evolvement in your life. It's a pretty interesting spread, Cancer. It looks like May 2018 is a month to kind of walk into some fears that you may have about leaving someone leaving you, which actually it goes deeper than that, like a fundamental truth maybe of being left or leaving before somebody's going to hurt you. If you've come from particularly a relationship history or just a background or even childhood where you had some negative, emotionally difficult experiences. It's also a beautiful reading about kind of pushing through your fears, getting past that, and realizing that by walking into what you're afraid of and having the wisdom and courage to move through that, you actually have more control over your own personal happiness and joy than you think you do or than you previously have thought. And learning how to give and receive in a more open way, learning how to let other people love you and love them in return. I mean, that almost kind of sums up the whole reading. It feels like a very very kind of inner growth sort of month. Your overall energy, focus, and guidance from the bottom of the deck is strength, which is, this is what it's all about. This is not the look at my big muscles kind of strength. This is about the kind of strength that it requires and that you attain more of by facing your fears. Facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, your anxieties, and having the courage and strength and humility to kind of face them, walk through them, deal with them head on. Some of them may turn out to be nothing more than dust bunnies under the bed. Some of them may require dealing with them. You know, wrestling with your demons is kind of what the strength card represents, which is what this woman has done. She has tamed this wild beast, albeit rather gently, and she is now, and it takes strength, courage, wisdom, humility in order to do that, but it's also what you gain so much more once you move through it and get on the other side of it. Whatever your doubts are, your insecurities, your fears, facing those, not running away from them, not cutting yourself off from them, and you attain so much more strength and wisdom and courage and insight and clarity when you get to the other side of it, and you're able to, as this woman has done, hold your head up high, because she is in motion. You can tell by the flow of her dress and her hair. She is moving forward courageously into her future with her head held high, because she has faced her fears, her doubts, her insecurities, and overcome those that she was able to change, and embraced what she wasn't able to, and just move forward. And it's a card about self-love as well. So beautiful, beautiful overall message and focus and advice for the month of May 2018. We have the Devil and the High Priestess, two major arcana cards, powerful combination. The Devil is a card of imbalance, significant, profound imbalance, or fears, negativity. It can sometimes represent addictions or strong temptations or vices. It can represent negative relationship, toxic relationships, like too much power and control. So significant imbalance. Fundamentally, regardless of what the specifics and details are, which always will vary in a general reading for how they resonate with people, because there's so many of you watching, but the energy and the advice remains the same. Imbalance means whatever area of your life it resonates in. Imbalance means there's too much energy, focus, and attention in one area to the detriment and exclusion of others, so that other parts of your life actually suffer. That's what it means to be out of balance. There's too much in one area and everything else kind of suffers, and it affects everything else. Now, the Devil is clarified by another major arcana card, the High Priestess. This is a card of deep spirituality and fundamentally of trusting your own intuition. Intuition is not thoughts. It's not our thoughts and ideas, and it's not really our feelings or emotions, because those can be wonderful and terrible, but ultimately they're not all that reliable. It's deeper than that. Some people call it intuition, intuitive sense. Some people call it their gut instinct, their higher self. Intuition is our connection to divine, God, Spirit, your angels, and guides. It's the conduit, or the cable, if you will, by which we get messages, insights, flashes of inspiration or ideas. They may seem random, but they're really not. They're messages coming through. And intuition is meant to be trusted. How many times have we heard ourselves or other people say, I should have gone with my instincts, or I should have gone with my first response, because that's intuition. And it's almost always, if not always, the right thing. And allowing ourselves to, and the more that we learn to rely on that, the more we come to trust it, which the High Priestess absolutely does. She's very connected with that. She watches, she observes a lot. She takes it all in. She's very connected and attuned, which requires kind of a stillness and a quietness. She doesn't talk often, the High Priestess. She's too busy observing and connecting. But when she does, it's usually wise and profound. So it's a card about trusting your intuition, trusting in divine timing and orchestration to lead you into that. So it looks like some of you have, I mean, again, the fact that your overall general focus and advice is to strength, facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, represents that there's something going on in your life, Cancer, right now. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's maybe old core issues, and it's time to actually walk through these fears. And I think for a lot of you, it has to do with how you love, or how you experience loving somebody else or being loved in return. And it looks like you have some intuitive sense about that. I mean, everybody does, but it looks like you struggle with trusting in that, with trusting in what you know to be true and good and right for yourself, perhaps in a relationship, because the Soulmate card is here as well. It almost looks like frankly, for a lot of you, maybe not all of you, but there's some either soulmate relationship in a love romantic sense or soulmate relationship in a best friend or really connected sense. You may be afraid they're going to leave you, or you may be thinking about leaving them because you're afraid maybe some stuff has come up and you're like, oh, it's going to be like everything always has been in my life, or everything before, because I feel like this is old. And there may be an intuitive sense saying, you know, it's time to break the cycle, it's time to move on and do things differently, and you're kind of struggling with that. You're struggling with your fear around this, but it's the fact that it has come up means that there's an opportunity for you to deal with it in the month of May. Of course, as I always say, we live in a free will zone. Spirit can give all the opportunities they want, but they don't force us to take it. That's what free will is. It's the process of making our decisions and choosing them and experiencing the consequences, which is how we learn and evolve. And so there's the opportunity this month, Cancer, for you to kind of work within some of your fears and insecurities and perhaps lessen and even negate some of those. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse and the Two of Cups next. The Eight of Cups in reverse. In the upright position, it represents walking away, leaving behind something that you found disappointing, unfulfilling, turned out to be something different than what you thought it was, or it's run its course. But in the reverse position, you are not leaving, you are staying. And also it could be that some of you are struggling with the decision to leave or walk away from something, or you are in fear of a particular situation and you're considering walking away, or you're afraid that the other person in this significant relationship is going to walk away from you as well, because it's clarified by the Soulmate card, the Two of Cups. Cups is emotional energy because it's water energy. It's about emotions and feelings and relationships. So how this plays out, this is a very connected karmic relationship. If it's a romantic soulmate relationship, it's more than just chemical and physical attraction. It's seeing things in a similar way. It's feeling like you've known each other for forever. You know, it's a beautiful, fundamentally the Two of Cups, whether in love or in business, it represents a beautiful union that's mutually beneficial in a lot of different ways and more than just the obvious. So for some of you, I think it's an issue of maybe some issues have come up in a relationship and you're scared and you want to leave because that's what you've always done, or you're afraid somebody else is going to leave. Maybe you want to leave before they leave you because those are just the experiences you've had in the past. Again, I feel like some of this is for a lot of you, this is connected to some core issue about relationships and love and how you love and how you have been loved in the past. But there's a cycle going on here that needs to be broken. For some of you, a very smaller portion of you, you may be in a relationship that's negative or toxic. We don't need to stay in relationships like that. Some of you may be struggling with your intuitive sense being, I need to get out of this. This is not good for me anymore. This is not fixable, or I need to remove myself from the time being. And you're struggling with leaving this person because you feel like they are your soulmate, or you feel like you're meant to be with them. You feel kind of trapped, like you can't leave them. For those of you for whom that resonates, your intuitive sense is telling you that indeed, if this is, I mean, truly negative and toxic relationships are not ones that we're meant to be in. Source, God, Spirit, your angels and guides, of course, don't want you to be in relationships like that. So if you are in a relationship like that, I mean, obviously, logically, you need to remove yourself, and there's something telling you to, but you struggle with it because maybe of the time you have invested, but it's definitely time to get out of that if that's the case. At least remove yourself for the time being. I feel like that's for a smaller portion of you. And again, that's connected with an old cycle as well. Remember, face your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. This card is about breaking cycles too. And you have more control than you previously have believed that you do, because next we have another tremendous combination of major arcana cards. We have the Sun and the Magician. Powerful. The Sun is the most, I think it's the most powerful card in the major tarot in how it can influence and affect all of the cards in a spread. When you think about the Sun, what does the Sun do? When the Sun comes out, it shines over everything. So when the Sun comes out in the spread, it always has an uplifting feeling, life, love, warmth, laughter. It affects all the other cards strongly in that it can kind of give an extra boost to all the positive energy in the spread. It can kind of uplift and increase that. And with cards that represent areas or situations that are challenging or painful, it can actually lessen and sometimes even negate the energies of those cards or balance it out. It represents life, love, warmth, laughter, fun and warm weather. There's a strong social theme to the sun. When the sun comes out, it automatically represents kind of a breathing a big sigh, you know, an uplifting of energy, a releasing or lessening of previously restrictive energies and depression, darkness into light, winter into spring, sickness into health kind of feeling, because the sun does that. It encourages things to grow. It brightens and lifts spirits. And it is accompanied, clarified by the Magician, which is a very card. It's a card about being powerful in an independent sense, because the magician has walked a long road. He has a lot of road behind him already. He is now a magician. He has worked long and hard and practiced and learned through triumph and success, failure and defeat, trial and error. He's learned, and now he's reached a point in his career where he has mastered everything. He has all, because he's a magician, he creates for his audience, and he's mastered everything of all the tools of his trade. So he now has the knowledge, experience, the wisdom, the tools, the knowledge of how to use those tools to create and manifest whatever he wants. He is in charge of his own destiny. The Magician is about taking all of your skills and your knowledge and your experience, realizing that you are not a victim, that you are a powerful person, and taking all the culmination of what you've learned in life and realizing that you can manifest it in an outside of yourself to create and build and manifest your own life, whatever you want. It's a powerful, independent card. It's a card about needing very little, if any, help from anybody else, because you've walked this path, and it's self-reliant, independent, powerful. It's about being in charge of your own life, your own destiny. And it clarifies the sun. Very clear message, Cancer, that you are stronger and more powerful than you think you are. Not only that, but that you are in charge. You can create your own dreams, you can manifest what you want in your life, even if previously you think you haven't. When we're stuck in cycles, we feel helpless sometimes, like we can't help it, we can't fix it, we can't make any changes, we're stuck. But the Sun and the Magician says, not only can you, but you have everything that you need. You can take all of your experiences, particularly the negative ones, and use those as strengths, as tools, facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, to move through whatever these fears are. Because of course it's going to vary for everybody watching, to move through this and take charge of your own life and your own happiness. You can create your own happiness. You have what it takes. Now, at or towards the end of May 2018, we have another great combination of cards, the Three of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. I love this combination. The Three of Cups is the card of again, a very strong social theme to this. It's about celebrating, getting out, having a good time, particularly with people you feel very comfortable with, or people that really get you, kind of a best friend, kindred spirit, kinship feeling, sisterhood, brotherhood kind of feeling. It's also a card that represents community, celebratory card, getting out, enjoying yourself, and really connecting well with people, particularly people that you feel you can be very authentic with, and vice versa. It's clarified by the Six of Pentacles, which is a card of, it's the tit for tat card. It's equality. It represents even giving and even receiving. Sometimes when this card shows up, it can represent that you need to be more open to giving and or more open to receiving as well. In emotional ways, it definitely represents that, clarifying the Three of Cups. There's, and again, I got this message in the beginning, Cancer. You need to be more open to loving and to being loved in return, because I think for some of you there is there's this cycle, and again, I think it comes from some older core issue place. Maybe you've had some really negative relationship experiences in your adult life or your childhood life, and so you've been kind of caught in what I call a karmic loop. It's time to really face fears and do things in a different way, which is how you break patterns. You break patterns by doing things in a different way, being more open to giving and receiving from other people, and not just within your love romantic relationships, but in your friendships and in your community at large. It looks like it will be really beneficial, and that's how you're going to end the month. Remember that you have far more control over creating and manifesting your own happiness and your own joy than you think you do. Again, if this is a truly negative or toxic relationship, then it's time to break the cycle and move on. If you're afraid of somebody leaving you, or you need to leave somebody else because you're afraid, you have these issues, I think it's time to break that cycle as well. Take the reins back, take the power back, take the control back of your own life, your own happiness, your own joy. And don't be afraid to reach out for help, to give and receive more, particularly in an emotional way, particularly with people that really do care about you, because it looks like there's plenty around you. Beautiful, powerful reading, Cancer, all about evolving and growing this month, or at least a tremendous opportunity to break some old cycles and patterns, which represents taking control of your own joy and happiness, because you definitely have what it takes to do that. So Cancer, that pretty much sums up your May 2018 general reading. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I really hope that you found it helpful, or that perhaps it validated some of what you've already been thinking or feeling, or that your intuitive sense is telling you. So again, if any of you are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, you can get the information and my contact details by clicking on the description bar of the videos I post, or going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on that little About button. Please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as we can. For fast answers to the really quick, easy, simple questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Iris Gypsy. So Cancer, I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the May 2018 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care. Bye-bye.